Okay, so today I'm gonna be going in Mrs. Jones' room to feed her. Okay, so before going in, make sure I sanitize my hands. Sanitize real good for 20 seconds until it's completely dry. So sanitize. Knock, knock. Could I come in?
Yeah.
Good morning, Mrs. Jones. My name is Dulce, and I'll be your nursing assistant for today. And I'm here to feed you. Is this a good time?
Yeah.
Okay, Mrs. Jones. Could I take a look at your bracelet? Okay, Mrs. Jones. Perfect. And I'm gonna shut your curtains, okay? For privacy. Okay, so I shut them. Okay, so Mrs. Jones, so here's the call light. If you need anything, just call me. I'm just gonna go over and get your food tray and I'll be right back. Okay, Mrs. Jones?
Okay.
Okay, so before leaving the room, I wash my hands. Wash for 20 seconds. Before leaving the room, wash really good. Okay, and I go get the food tray and I'm back. So let's pretend I'm back with the food tray. Okay, Mrs. Jones, I'm back. We're gonna get started, okay? Okay, so Mrs. Jones, so I'm gonna raise the bed, okay? Okay, so I raised the bed and I have to put her in a Fowler's position, so like a 45-degree angle. Okay, Mrs. Jones, so I'm just gonna be putting you, raising your bed, okay? Okay, Mrs. Jones. There you go. Are you feeling okay, Mrs. Jones?
Yeah.
Okay, Mrs. Jones, so we're gonna get started, okay? So first, I'm gonna wash your hands. Would you like to have your hands washed?
Yeah.
Okay, Mrs. Jones. So I have my cloth here, so I'm gonna go over to the sink and I'm gonna wet it. So wet it, so I could wash your hands with this. Okay, so it's all wet. Okay, Mrs. Jones, here you go. I'm gonna wash your hands. So let's pretend that that's her weak side. So I'm just going to wash this hand because I don't want to touch her weak side. So we're working with her strong side. So here you, Mrs. Jones, you're all cleaned up. I could put this on the side. Okay, Mrs. Jones, so I'm going to be putting this as a protective barrier just so you won't get dirty, your clothes dirty. Okay, Mrs. Jones? Okay, Mrs. Jones. There you go. Okay, let me just make sure, okay, that this is right. Mrs. Jones, a regular diet. Okay, perfect. Okay, Mrs. Jones. So right here, you would usually have like a table to set her tray, but since I don't, I'm just gonna be sitting in here. And try to explain like using the clockwise so they could understand what they're having and what's on their plate. Can't see it. Okay, so Mrs. Jones, so on the 3, we have a hamburger. On the 6, we have some fries. On the 9, we have some veggies. And on the 12, we have some rice pudding. What would you like to eat first?
The rice pudding.
The rice pudding? Okay, Mrs. Jones. So I would get a chair here in front of her, like facing her, and start feeding her. Okay, Mrs. Jones. Here you go. Here you go. And while she swallows, you have to give her some fluid as well, so it can help with the food go down. Okay. And you have to be patient. Wait for her to swallow everything, to chew everything. Here you go, Mrs. Jones. And don't forget to give her fluid every time you give her some food. You have to do this. It's a very important step. Okay, so you would basically repeat this until her tray's finished. So our goal is for her to finish the 100%. And in this case, let's pretend she finished everything. Okay, so we're all done, Mrs. Jones. So I could put this over, let's say with the table, put it on the side while I raise up her bed. Okay, Mrs. Jones, I'm just gonna be cleaning your mouth. Make sure to fold the towel away from you. Put this in the hamper. Okay, Mrs. Jones, so would you like to have your hands washed again?
Yeah.
Before I leave? Okay, so with the same cloth, I could clean her hand. Clean it. Take it away. Okay, so I'm gonna be lowering you down, okay, Mrs. Jones? So put her down to the lowest position, the bed, and then let's encourage her to be sitting up in that position for at least 20 minutes, and I'll be back to see how she's doing, and I could put her back to her lying position. Please, Mrs. Jones, so here's your emergency light. If you need anything, just give me a call. Would you like your curtains open or shut?
Shut.
Okay, Mrs. Jones, I'll leave them shut for you. Okay, so Mrs. Jones, so that's it. You did a good job. You finished all your food. So like I mentioned, just give me a call and I'll be right with you.
Okay.
Okay, Mrs. Jones? Okay, bye, Mrs. Jones. So now with the food tray, I will take it back to the designated area. And before leaving the room, I have to wash my hands. So wash for 20 seconds. Very important to wash. And now I would exit the room and then record her food intake, which was, like I mentioned, 100%. And her fluid intake as well. And then record and report.